Hey guys, I'm Eddie. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. In today's episode, we're just here to discuss my first impressions of the new BLUETTI AC70. It's a fantastic new power station that's going to be released in Australia on the 7th of December. So this is more of a first look. I just received this yesterday, so it won't be a detailed review or a long-term review like I do on most of my products. However, we'll just discuss everything we need to know about this product. So the capacity of the AC70 is 768 watt hours, or roughly 62 amp hours at 12 volts. So it's quite a good usable small battery. And when I say small, it is quite lightweight. It's just over 10 kilos. Has a fantastic strong handle up here, which makes carrying this thing just a breeze. The main features of the AC70 are, it has a 1000 watt pure sine wave inverter that in power lifting mode can go up to 2000 watts. So that will run a whole bunch of electronic equipment up to 1000 watts. And if you need any more than that for high resistive loads, like say your hair dryers, your pool pumps and stuff like that, you can run that up to 2000 watts, which is fantastic at this tiny little unit. It's great. If you're plugged in via 240 in this input here, and you're utilizing this to charge some devices and run things like a laptop or a computer or a fridge, and for some reason you lose power, say the power goes out, it's got an inbuilt UPS which kicks in within 20 milliseconds. So if you're running things like a fridge, again a laptop or a computer, you won't notice any interruptions to power, which is fantastic if you guys are working from home. There are 7 outputs in total. So we've got the 2 AC that we've spoken about. There are 2 USB Type-C outputs here, which are 100 watts each, which is great. That means you can charge power-hungry devices like laptops and tablets fairly quickly. You've also got the 2 USB-As, which are 12 watts each, which are great. Again, quite a fast USB-A charger. We've also got here your 12 volt, 10 amp cigarette lighter plug, is what we call them in Australia, which is fantastic. So you can plug things like your car fridge in, your tool battery chargers and whatnot into there, which is great. So charging wise, there are essentially 4 main ways to charge it. The first one, which we've kind of briefly discussed earlier, is this input over here, right? So it's just your Australian 10-pin plug. So I'll show you guys that cable here. So included part of the kit, and we'll go through everything that's included, is this lead. So you can see it's quite long. I'll measure that and throw that up on the screen. But you can see it's just your general 3-pin plug. So the good thing about this is, as you can see, there's no brick, there's no big power station or anything like that. It's all inbuilt, which is great. So that simply plugs into here. And there's 3 different modes essentially. There's turbocharging mode, which charges this at its fastest rate, as the name would suggest, which is great because it'll go from 0 to 80% within 45 minutes, which is phenomenal. And then from 80 to 100% takes an additional 45 minutes. And the reason for that is, without getting too complex and talking about electrons and everything, basically the way these lithium iron phosphate batteries work, not just in this BLUETTI, in general, is, I want to try to break this down as easy as I can. Say you're looking for a car park at a shopping centre, right? That's empty. So you're the 0 to 80%. You can just drive in there, park anywhere you want, happy days. But once that car park gets full, or the electrons, or the battery capacity, I should say, get full, it's harder to find a park, and it takes significantly longer, especially if you're at like 95%, right? You're driving around, waiting, and that's a really simplified version of what's happening. But yeah, that's essentially why all lithium iron phosphate batteries take that little bit extra. But the good thing is, again, if you're on the run, within 45 minutes from dead empty to 80%, it's so quick. There's normal mode, which is a bit more battery friendly in the long term. So I suggest, if you're not in a massive rush, leave it on normal. And that just obviously dims down the wattage coming into the unit. The fans aren't as loud because you're obviously not in a rush, doesn't need to cool down as much. And finally, if you've got, like us, 2 young kids or babies, or you're just in a workplace environment, you want it super quiet, you can charge this in silent mode, which takes a little bit longer, but it is like literally silent. It's very quiet, so it's good for those those environments where you don't want to make too much noise. Another way to charge it is just through your car. And again, with the included cable, so you've got just a cigarette lighter plug. This one's not quite as long, but like more than sufficient if you're going to put this in your boot, or in the footwell or something like that. This cable just plugs into here, and you can charge either 12 volts or 24 volts, depending on whether you've got a truck or a car or a van or whatever. So it's good, quite versatile there. In this same input here, this DC input, again included is a nice cable here, a solar for your solar panels. There are MC4 connectors, which are industry standard. They're weatherproof and they're great connectors. And that's also, I'm going to say, just as long as the power cable. I'll put the exact measurements down below, and that just plugs straight into this input here. It's important to note that whichever solar panels you use, whether they're BLUETTI solar panels or they are aftermarket solar panels, that you follow the manufacturer's guidelines, right? So BLUETTI here saying this will take an input, this port, between 12 and 58 volts, and a maximum of 10 amps, and a maximum of 500 watts. So what that means, guys, is if you're going to run these solar panels in series or in parallel, it can accommodate for both, as long as you don't exceed the maximum wattage, which is 500 watts, or the maximum amperage, which is 10 amps, or again, that voltage range, right? So if you've got, say, two 30 volt panels and you put them in series, that's 60 volts, you're going to be over, right? So you don't want to do anything like that and cause damage to the unit. That's why BLUETTI recommend that you use their solar panels, because they're obviously tailor-made to these. And I've got a couple of their 200 watt, their brand new solar panels, which I'll put in another video. And yeah, they're a great bit of kit, and they'll work quite well paired with this AC70. So we've covered the AC and the solar and the DC side. Another way, the fourth way that you can charge this is through a generator. So if you've got a pure sine wave generator inverter, so ones that run on petrol or diesel or whatever, you can charge this, no worries, as long as it's a pure sine wave inverter generator. It's just important to note that if you are going to run accessories off it, like we spoke about earlier, about using it like a UPS, just ensure that the generator is sufficient to provide power to charge this and to run your devices as well. So aesthetically, the unit looks fantastic. It's very similar to the AC180 and the B80 and the AC60 range. It's got a very nice display. This display, in fact, is I'm going to say new, because it looks significantly nicer and it's brighter, and display is different than the AC60 and the AC180. Not saying those are poor, they're very good quality screens. This is just different again, and like BLUETTI do time and time again, each release of their product, they listen to their customers and they just make their products significantly better, which is what we want. So on the screen itself, you've got a fair bit of information. You've got you've got your time to empty at the bottom, which is auto-calculating, which means if you plug in a high current load, or high wattage load, I should say, it'll adapt the time to suit. You've got your AC input in, your AC output, your DC input, and your DC outputs as well on the screen. And there's a whole bunch of different icons that will be explained in your manual that come up on the screen here as well. But my personal favorite is, I love the BLUETTI app. And if you guys have owned BLUETTI products in the past, there's so much you can do with the app. It's just with Bluetooth, you can update the unit if there are updates available. You can check all that data that we just spoke about. You can change parameters and settings like charging and eco mode and stuff like that, which, whether you set it to AC or DC, will turn the unit off after a predetermined time. And it's so technical, guys, like it's time and wattage, right? So if you're, say you got, you want the unit to turn off after 4 hours if there's no load, it'll do that. Or if there's a small load in there, like say you're charging, I don't know, like a laptop or whatever, and it's only drawing 60 watts, but you want it to turn off once it's finished, but only 40 watts, whatever. There's so many customizable stuff in the app, which is really good to see. And again, it's good that BLUETTI listen to their users and they just tweak the app and make it, I want to say, perfect. There's lots of good things about the app. We briefly discussed before the battery technology in this. So it's the lithium iron phosphate batteries. And again, the capacity is 768 watt hours. The best thing about the battery technology that BLUETTI use on this unit and across most of their range is they're rated at a minimum of 3,000 cycles, right? Which is phenomenal. So a cycle's, you use it, deplete the battery, you recharge it, that'll be one cycle. So you need to do that 3,000 times before you will see any degradation at all with the battery capacity of this unit. And even if you have a problem, there's a massive 5-year warranty with the entire unit, which is great. So a lot of other manufacturers don't offer that, But yeah, BLUETTI, once again, strong unit with a strong warranty. And you can tell this unit is tailored to the international market via the charging and working temperatures of this unit. So they're very broad. They cater for the hot summers, like in Australia, for example, or over in Africa, and the freezing conditions of anywhere globally, right? So the discharge temperature is minus 20 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius, which is quite a large range. The working humidity is between 10 and 90%. And again, just the general ruggedness of the unit, you know this thing's going to last. We run the AC180 in the back of our four-wheel drive, and that's been great. We've had in there for quite some time, and it gets used daily. And this is a very similar unit in its design and composition, so no doubt this will last the test of time as well. So as we mentioned earlier, this unit hasn't been released yet to the Australian public. It will be released on the 7th of December. However, if you want any more information and you want to stay up to date, make sure you subscribe to the BLUETTI newsletter on their website. Super easy, just punch in your email address, tell them which product you're interested in, and any updates for this unit, they'll let you know. If you want to watch a future long-term review and a decent test on this unit, it'll be awesome if you guys subscribe and follow along for the channel. We do a lot of tech stuff, and we do lots of car stuff as well. So if you're into any of that, there will be some Tesla content coming soon with my wife's car. But yeah, if you guys would consider liking and subscribing, that'll be awesome. And just finally, guys, part of the Black Friday deals that BLUETTI have at the moment, they're running from November the 20th to the 3rd of December. They got some fantastic sales. Make sure you check out their website. They've got sales on solar panels, sales on all their units. The AC180, which is my favorite one so far, that's on sale. It's gone back to its pre-order price, which I ordered it for $1,199, I believe, which is great. And if you got anything out of this video or you want to support the channel, please guys, just use the code EddieTurbo. It really helps out the channel. It doesn't cost you guys any extra. And further to that, guys, if you spend more than 1,500 bucks on the BLUETTI website, they're going to give you 5 times BLUETTI bucks. So BLUETTI bucks are essentially like, you could almost call them reward points, and they look after their customers, their existing customers, and you can get some free accessories out of it. Things like additional cables or connectors. So it's well worth it if you're going to spend over 1,500 bucks at the moment. And something you can use those BLUETTI bucks on is if you've got, like me, you've got an AC60 and a B80, the expansion battery, you can use that with this unit. The cable that comes with the B80 doesn't suit this plug. However, BLUETTI have thought of that and they've got an adapter. So if you're going to buy this unit and a couple of solar panels or whatever, it's great. Get that, use your BLUETTI bucks to use some of those adapters, and happy days. You'll have 768 watt hours plus however many B80s you got, which is great. So you can make this into a quite a large battery bank as well. And when you don't need it to be large, like super lightweight, super easy, easy to manage, which is great. Putting it in and out of the car, in and out of the house, in the cupboards or whatever. It's just a great unit, it really is. All right, thanks so much guys for tuning into this episode. Thank you for sharing this journey with me. If you want to watch some more AC70 or any other BLUETTI products and car stuff, it'd be great to have you along for the ride. So please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions, guys, just leave them straight down below. I'm more than happy to answer any questions. And if you want to watch my long-term review on the AC60 and the B80, just click on this link up here. See you guys, thank you.